everyone.
Hello and welcome.
It's Ricardo Gonçalves here. Mark, how you going?
I'm good. The reason we're late today is because of the protest that never happened. We saw the very ugly scenes last weekend of violent rallies happening in Sydney. This weekend, they didn't happen thanks to a really incredible police operation. And of course, we are still seeing case numbers high, so that is a good thing. So that's why I'm late. And you have done
we were supposed to be on at 6 o'clock, but Mark got a phone call, and obviously this is just meant to be a bit of a lockdown project that we do in our spare time. But here's Mark at work earlier today, looking casual.
I actually haven't changed. I'm still wearing the same t-shirt, so I have been very, very busy. So apologies for the same outfit.
No, but good work, because I think people forget how tricky it can be for journos to be in that kind of situation, especially if it was to get out of hand. But it wasn't too bad today, was it?
And we're super flaky journalists. I mean, people think we're flaky dating life or generally friends, dinners, all that. But we can cancel on you like in the space of 5 minutes, and we make no apologies for that. Like, it can literally be 5 minutes before I'm turning up and I'm like, sorry, I can't make it.
It's probably the other reason why journos or those people in the media date or marry other people within the industry, because they get it.
And why so many of them are single and living alone in lockdown. So,
Well, the other thing I did today too, before we start the show, I got my second COVID vaccine shot. So I'm fully vaxxed, spent part of the day in Sydney Olympic Park. So that was good to do.
And what was the vibe like there in terms of people lining up? Were people excited?
It's actually really weird, because it feels like you're in this futuristic movie, because everyone's pretty quiet and you're being marched in line into this big room where there's like a couple of hundred people sitting down just silently. So it's quite pensive, I think. But listen, at the end of it, I think you can feel everyone just feeling this sense of relief that it's over and done with.
Yeah, I've seen a few people crying, like when they get their first one, because it's like this relief, like I'm halfway there because I'm halfway vaccinated. But anyway, enough about COVID. Let's bring in our first guest.
Oh, hold on. Let's tell everyone what, if you've got a question, remember you can ask a question by typing them in the comments section of the Facebook page. So we prefer you, if you are watching on the Ricardo&Reddie page on Facebook, you'll be able to have your questions come up, like Anastasia saying hello. She's watching. Thank you very much. Milan as well, having a well done, Ricardo. And a nice comment from Gavin. Maybe a romance here. No.
Gavin's clearly stirring the pot. Hi, Gavin.
And if this is the first time you are watching, what we're trying to do here, it's a lockdown show. We don't really want to be talking about COVID, although, it's hard to avoid, but we want to put a smile on your face by talking about inspirational and uplifting stories from everyday members of the community.
Exactly. So if you know anyone that's doing something kind of cool, quirky during lockdown, helping someone out, doing something nice for someone, because I think that's what everyone needs, is something nice at the moment, please get in touch either through Facebook or email us as well.
Okay, Mark, who's our first guest?
So our first guest I'm really excited about. I've known her for a very long time. Her name's Jennifer Hall. She's a retiree. She is probably fitter than most of us. She has swum the English Channel before. She's in her early 70s, and she's doing something really interesting during this lockdown. She has more of a raging social life than I do, and I'm in my 30s during lockdown, and she's abiding by all the rules. So we're going to talk to her about how you can spice up your social life during the pandemic. And here she is.
Hi.
There she is. Hello.
Hi. Lovely to be here.
Lovely to see you. Now, firstly, it is quite dark, so tell everyone what you're wearing firstly.
Okay, so what I'm wearing is my ski suit and my ski helmet and goggles. And I'm sorry you can't see them as well as you should, because all my spots on my suit and my goggles and helmet all match. I'm going to take this off in a minute because it's hot. and it's much hotter tonight than we expected. But that's what our dinner theme is tonight, is ski gear. So
what you're doing tonight is you're on your balcony. That's why there isn't much light. It is in Sydney. It really isn't ski gear weather, so you're probably freezing. But tell us what you're doing in lockdown to keep life interesting, and you're having a raging social life. So tell us about it.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that it's absolutely raging, but we would have the best neighbours in the world who you're going to meet shortly. And last year when lockdown started, they suggested that we have a drink one night on our balconies, which are a few metres apart. And from there, it progressed to dinner. And we had various themes. Last year, you might recall, it was a bit warmer. And so it was really quite good fun. You know, we got into the sort of crazy hats, pajamas. I think we had an Asian night, and anyway, sort of various dress ups and food and drinks, and it was just a great way to feel that we had some contact with somebody, because Jeff's here.
I'm here, but I don't do the talking.
we were pretty cut off like everybody else. I mean, it's a tough time. And after we'd done this a few times, I said to this gorgeous couple and their 3 children, look, don't feel sorry for us. You don't have to do this for us. You know, it's fine. We can look after ourselves. And they went, we're not doing it for you. We're doing it for us. And so as soon as this lockdown came this time round, they said, right, okay, we're going again. And so I think this is our 3rd night. And last week we had Christmas in July, which was absolutely brilliant, and brought in some Christmas food. And then next week, I think Will, the eldest of the 2 foster boys, is cooking Japanese for us. So we're looking forward to that, because we've got a real Olympic theme going here with the Japan and the Japanese food. So yeah, that's it.
And talk us through your neighbours. So first of all, how well do you know them? And I guess, did lockdown bring you any closer?
Okay, so I first met them when they were looking at the house to buy. And that'll have to tell you how many years ago that was. And Andy, the husband, was upstairs measuring out the passageway upstairs to see whether one end was narrower than the other. And it was. And so I was just in there having a sticky bee, but he and I had a chat, and then I came out and met his wife and the kids, and I thought, oh, they're really nice. I hope they buy the house. And they did. So I always feel I should have got a commission from the estate agent, because I was being particularly pleasant. And we've just got to know them over the years. And we've just had dinner occasionally, or a drink, and sometimes we've done it with some other neighbours. But I guess we probably wouldn't have had more than 2 or 3 dinners a year normally. And now we're having one pretty much every week. And yeah, and it's really great, because you start to look forward to it on Saturday morning, and start thinking about what you're going to get out of your wardrobe, and cooking your dinner and whatever. So that's great. Yeah. And then somewhere along the line, Andy said, I really like swimming. And so I got him involved with a group of friends, and now, even though he's massively younger than me, he's always trying to beat me.
And hold on. So on that note, you though, and I know this from a while ago, you swam the English Channel in 2012. Tell us a bit about that. And how old were you when you did it? I know it's not kosher to ask how old someone is, but how old were you did it? It was your first time. And what was your time, and what were the challenges?
Okay, well, I guess I was 60. Was I about 60?
Yeah, you're right.
I got to take this off. Sorry.
That's okay.
And it was a team effort. So it wasn't just me. It was a team of 4. And we had a pretty rough crossing. We started at 2:00 in the morning, and we took 12 hours and 50 minutes. And I guess I swam for about 3.5 of those. And for the rest of it, I vomited because the
Wow.
conditions were so rough. And we were all in the same boat. You all take turns at swimming. There's very strict rules, so you have to swim for an hour each and then turn over. So that was the basis of it. Yeah.
And so Andy,
Mark, our daughter and I, as I say, our daughter and I were sat by the Thames feeding the swans while this was going on. It was much more pleasant.
I think I'd probably be doing the same, to be honest, having a wine by the Thames. And so your neighbours now, so Andy's getting involved in swimming. Can we bring Andy in from the other balcony?
All right, now I'm just driving the technical stuff, so let's see if this works.
Okay, there they are. Hello.
That's sideways.
You're on. Hi, Andy.
Good evening. I'm just being given tech instructions by
It's okay. Everyone's learning how to do TV at the moment. I'm actually getting people to film segments in their home because our cameramen can't go to people's homes. So you're becoming journalists. Everyone's becoming a journalist and a producer and a cameraman. So well done, Andy. Just quickly, so you're on the balcony next to Jenny and Jeff. Tell us firstly, where did the whole theme idea come from?
I think it's one of those things that evolves in lockdown and you don't have a lot on your mind and you're having a dinner every week. And it's pretty easy to go from there and saying, what are we going to do next week? I think the other thing about it is that Jenny and Jeff travel all the time. And so with COVID, we get the benefit of them not traveling. We get to actually see them more. But what we tried to do last year was think about visiting some of the places where they would have traveled had they been traveling.
And so the kids are all involved there too. I can see all their ski gear. Do you guys actually ski?
And we should make the point that that is one household as well there.
Yes. Yeah. We try to divide them up, but they just keep coming back.
Do you guys actually ski, or is it just like for fun and giggles next to the balconies?
We do ski, and funnily enough, one of our favourite ski places is the same as Jenny and Jeff's favourite ski places that we both went to many, many years before we actually met.
Yeah, right. And where's that?
In Lech, in Austria.
Okay, nice. So you won't be going there for a long time. So it looks like you're just skiing down the grass hill outside your house. Hey, so tell us a bit about...
No, this is our skiing, to be frank, just pretending we've got ski gear on.
Yeah, fair enough. So can I ask you, obviously, do you think in any other circumstance, in a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic, do you guys think you actually would have started talking to each other? Because I know living in the city... I don't even know my neighbours and I've lived here 4 years. So it's a sort of a vague high. But do you guys think you would have had that bond had the pandemic happened?
Yeah, no, I think we do because, as Jenny said, our balconies are only about 2 metres apart. So we've got really no choice but to get on with them. But fortunately, that's really easy because we get on really, really well. And so, as Jenny said, we catch up heaps anyway. And Jenny mentioned the fact that, she talked me into, joining her swim group. What she hadn't actually said before that was that she'd swum the channel. So as she said, I am, 1 or 2 years younger than her. So I thought it'd be really easy to go swimming with Jenny and got quite a shock when I went swimming and, we'd gone 10 metres and she'd gone 30.
I think Jenny's daughter might be listening too, maybe. And she is my age and I went to school with her. And she always talks to me just about how fit her mum is. And I think it's remarkable that, swimming the English Channel, it's amazing. It's incredible.
Let's talk about food. What was on the menu tonight and what was the theme for the food tonight?
Okay, well, the food was Irish stew, which Jeff made, which was absolutely delicious. And... that's it. And then we haven't had dessert yet, but that's a cheesecake with lemon myrtle and finger limes and wattle seed. So that's tonight's dinner. So not quite a theme, but we sort of started out on an Irish bit of
And
an
do you
Irish
guys,
theme. So,
who do you both
so we
have the
did all the
same
food
recipe?
tonight, and then the same.
Do you both have the same recipe and you're both cooking at the same
No,
time?
one person makes the food.
And then you pass it over the balcony?
And we use Uber Eats to transfer it between the two houses.
Plug for Uber, they're our sponsors.
The food has come from various places.
And Andy, given lockdown, and you were talking about how this helps with neighbourhood spirit, right, between the two neighbours. What about, you know, on a little bit of a larger scale, the whole neighbourhood, maybe your street? Does it bring the street a bit closer, do you think?
It hasn't yet, but I can see it happening because it is a fairly tight-knit street. We do sort of wander up and down, but so far it's only you know, Jenny and Jeff and us that are doing the you know, communal dinners.
So it's like Ramsey Street.
The COVID-safe communal dinners, I should say.
And can I ask you as well? So
I think we're the only ones that have got the best balconies.
Right, that helps.
We actually had a guest on the show a few weeks ago who was cooking dinners in her apartment block and delivering them to neighbours, but leaving them at the doors because they were planning on having dinner on the Sunday. They went into lockdown, and so she cooked their meals anyway and left them at the doors. So that's quite unusual because in the city you don't really see that. But I guess in the suburbs, like, this is a really nice thing to do. And I guess when the lockdown lifts, do you reckon you'll just have some amazing street party in ski gear?
Take a bit.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely time.
Okay, what do the kids have to say about this? Are they having as much fun as you guys?
Yeah, they're pretty fun. We get to drink some alcohol with the neighbours. Yeah, I'm the cocktail maker, designated cocktail maker most nights. Yeah, pretty fun.
Nice. And have you met Jeff and Jenny's children yet, or no, not yet?
Yeah, we have a few times. We haven't actually had like a dinner with them or anything, but we've passed by them a few times.
Okay, well, they're really fun too. So, like, hopefully when this all ends, you just have some amazing balcony party.
That's the plan.
Well, thank you very much, both the whole the two households there in Sydney. Some great ideas and some great inspiration. Thank you, Jenny, Andy, and Susie. Thank you.
And good luck with the swimming, Andy.
Oh, thank you.
very much,
It's been
guys.
good fun.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Take
Thank
care,
you
guys.
very much.
Yeah,
Bye.
they were great.
Yeah, that
I
worked.
loved it. I need a
It's been good
balcony. I really need a balcony because
Oh, you stole my line because I said I was going to say, Mark, you should do that at your place.
yeah, well, no. Although there is a rooftop, so although I don't know if you can congregate on a rooftop.
I think technically not yet. It's
Well, no, it's interesting because I'm in an apartment block full of a lot of people, but I wonder what happens with a rooftop. Like, are you allowed to go there? I don't know. Anyway,
there should be signs.
one for Brad Hazard on Monday.
Well, that
okay,
was great.
So your next guest, look at you with all the technical things. I'm doing nothing. I'm just having a Negroni and living my life.
I might show everyone later when I turn the other camera on what exactly I've got to do. So that's why sometimes I'm kind of not paying attention 100%. But let's get to our next guest. It's one of my friends, and I'll tell you the idea of how this interview came about. So I was walking with her in our LGA last weekend, and I was saying,
LGA is so pandemic.
I know, right? Local government area?
LGA.
So we were walking and I said to her, I saw your post on origami. You really need to tell me or show me how to do it one day. It's really interesting. And then I looked at her and I went, you should do it on the show. What a great idea. So you got your piece of paper. So our next guest is a long-time seasoned journalist and television presenter. You may see her right now on SBS's Insight. I met her more than 10 years ago when she first started at SBS World News. Here is Kumi Taguchi.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you guys? So good to see you.
You too.
How's lockdown for you? I mean, I saw you last weekend, but how are you going?
Oh, yeah, okay. Bit over walking my, 3 square blocks and like everyone, right? But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Coping.
Walking's actually very tiring, especially if you do it like multiple times a day because you need to get out. It's incredibly tiring.
Yeah, I've been running a lot too, I've got to say, like just hitting the 4 o'clock, 4:30 time of the day and just going, okay, I'm going to see the light on the water. And I'm thinking if anything comes out of this, at least I'll be fit,
Yeah, exactly. You won't, yeah. And I feel like I'm actually eating a lot more, but I'm running a lot more too. So it's kind of all balancing out.
Exactly. Yeah. Pandemic balance.
Now, one thing that's keeping us entertained during the pandemic, before we talk about the origami, Kumi, you've had probably one of the biggest audiences ever because you took part in the opening ceremony of the Tokyo Olympic Games as a commentator.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, look, thanks for asking. It was pretty amazing, actually, a couple of things. One, to be kind of part of that broadcast. I think we had 3.2 million people watching. Another was, as you guys would know, we've got ABC, SBS, but to kind of work across another network, I think it's just a really great opportunity and really fun and to be part of a new team. And then I was wanting to be in Tokyo for the Olympics. So I'd already signed up to be a volunteer like years ago, I think in about 2017, 2018, had always planned to be in Tokyo for the Olympics. So obviously you can't be there. And so just to be kind of part of it and see that ceremony unfold and feel like I was half there and feel my kind of Japanese flag patriotism come out was such an honor, really, such an honor. And such a great thing to be part of. And we've got the closing ceremony in 8 days. So I can't wait to get back to it.
Did it feel weird being in Sydney? Is it kind of sort of like this virtual world? Like you're doing this Olympic thing, but you're not there, but you're kind of getting all the broadcasts. Is it a really surreal feeling? Because when 2000 happened in Sydney and London, which I worked at, it was this buzz, but did it still have the buzz anyway?
Oh, your mum's saying hello, Ricardo. Hi, Cesar. How's my cakes going? When are they coming? Great question. I think so the core team of the commentary team's in Melbourne and I was the only one in the Sydney studio. So I was remote from them, but we'd organised some really amazing ways to communicate with each other. So we felt like a combined unit. In terms of Japan, I think because so many people are remote from it now, and in a sense, let's say I was there, let's say I'd had the fortune to be commentating or doing something, I probably would have been in a broadcast studio anyway. So you're just not getting the buzz of it going to and from a broadcast studio. So I didn't feel that way. And I just feel like for Japan to even get to the starting line, for even a big network to be able to even broadcast under COVID conditions, keep everyone COVID safe, make sure that no one gets COVID in order to get to the studio. I feel like just to get to the starting line as a broadcast was such an achievement anyway. So there was a real sense of buzz that, hey, we're actually here, we're actually doing it. And we'd also watched the opening ceremony, like about 85% of it a few nights before, because you're allowed to do that minus the major kind of parts of the ceremony. So we already felt a sense of a buzz that it was really happening. And so actually I felt super, super excited, and I didn't feel in any level that I was missing out on something, strangely enough. But you're the first person who's asked that. It's an interesting question.
Kumi, speaking of buzz, what is it about Japan, Tokyo, that you love and the culture?
Tokyo itself, let me think, to summarize it, the shots that we see, the Shibuya crossing, the really busy crossing, the kind of robots, the busyness, the tech side of Japan is what's sort of sold in a way of Tokyo. But Tokyo's, like if you imagine there's this little dot on the map and the same number of people in that tiny dot in Tokyo live in the entire is the entire population of Australia, right? So that's just a crazy concept. It's like imagining everyone in Australia kind of in Melbourne and Greater Melbourne. So, but the thing about Tokyo is when you're there, I mean, you've been, you don't, apart from those major areas, I don't ever feel like it's rushed, busy, too hard to navigate, because Tokyo's kind of set up like, if you imagine like about 1,000 small villages in one city. So, you know, 3 or 4 blocks. There's a funny sound. Is that me? 3 or 4 blocks. Is that me?
I don't know.
I can still hear you though. It's fine.
That's okay. You know, 3 or 4 blocks is kind of one little neighborhood. So what I love about it is that you can feel like you're in where my grandparents' house used to be is in Tokyo, but like say 20 minutes away from the center of it, but it feels like you're in a little village. And I think that's what I love about Tokyo. It's very walkable. There's still really sort of old and new aspects to it. It's still very much like you can ride your bike around. There's old people on bikes. There's young kids just playing on the street. So it's sort of very community feeling and very safe. And then the Japanese culture, what I love about it is there's a real sense of adherence to and respect of tradition, particularly in arts and crafts. And it just is throughout society, how you eat, how you drink, how you walk, how you make things, how you wrap a book, you pick it up from a bookshop, that kind of thing. So yeah, and that's what I love. That's what I love about it. That's what I love about the culture. And every opening ceremony, actually, strangely enough, had that perfect balance of the two.
And everyone is very polite. When I went back there, it was a long time ago. I was 19, so a very long time ago. Everyone is really, really polite. And I remember I didn't speak any Japanese. I could say maybe a few words. And I remember coming out of Shinjuku train station and being by myself and having absolutely no idea where I was. And I somehow managed to communicate with this woman who was a grocer. And she gave me directions, and she couldn't speak any English, and rightly so, because I'm the foreigner in Japan. And she was so persistent to get me to my hotel. Really good job. And I just think that was amazing. That was the first memory of mine that sticks with me with Japan.
Yeah, that's so true. And you come across that 24 times a day there. Yeah, I really miss that. And those kind of stories are all over the place. You know, if you leave your wallet somewhere, it'll never be taken. You leave your money somewhere, it'll never be stolen. You know, it's normal to go to like a Starbucks and there's tables all outside and you see the table you want and you leave your bag on the seat to say, hey, I'm going to come back in 10 minutes with my coffee. But you've left your bag on a seat on a road in the middle of Tokyo and it will not get stolen. And you're kind of looking back going, surely this is like a joke, but it just doesn't happen. So yeah, that's exactly it.
Kumi, let's talk about origami. What I love about it is that it's something you can do at home. So with people in lockdown, and they probably never thought about the art of folding paper. Can you maybe tell us about the significance of origami in Japanese culture, and then maybe a bit about crane origami? And I've got a little picture here that I did take from your Instagram.
Oh, thank you. So folding crane. So paper folding is a big part of Japan, has been for ages. And I love the idea that you can get a square piece of paper and just make it into so many different things. It's so easy to do. And even if you've got like A4 printer paper at home, it's really easy to turn that into a square. You just kind of fold it sort of across and cut off the long bit, if that makes sense. So you can just do it with anything you've got at home. As kids, we used to make stuff out of napkins at a restaurant, or you just get an old receipt that you've got in your wallet and you can turn it into a square. So you can essentially turn anything into a square. I find it very meditative. I also find it like a really great thing just to kind of do something with your hands and make something so easily. And the crane thing, like I know I've sent you notes in the past, I put a crane in it. For me, it's a little gesture to show that person who I've written a note to that I've taken the time to make something. I've picked out a color out of this wad of origami paper that I haven't thought about that person and what color would they like. I just feel like it's just a really lovely thing to do. And it takes only like 5 minutes to make. Well, actually, it takes me only 2 minutes, but it takes like 5 minutes to make a crane. And the crane for me is so, the crane came out of Hiroshima. So 70, this is me folding a crane the other day. Oh. So it's 76 years, in fact, in about a week's time when Hiroshima was bombed. And there's a story of this young girl called Sadako. It's a real story. So she was about 10 when the city was bombed. She survived the atomic bomb. but about 2 years later, she got really sick and she started to get blood poisoning and stuff and was in hospital. And so she became this kind of symbol of the aftermath of the atomic bomb. And she started folding paper cranes in hospital from the little medicine packets that were wrapped around her medicine, little gold cranes, little silver cranes, little paper cranes. And her classmates also started folding paper cranes for her and bringing them to her in hospital. And they had this thing, this dream that maybe if they folded 1,000 paper cranes, she would survive. She didn't. She died of leukemia. And I think they got to something like 684 or 725 cranes. But as a result, everywhere you go in Hiroshima, there are cranes everywhere. Outside government buildings, inside cafes. These are some photos I took just a few years ago. The one on the right with a sort of heart-shaped statue, that's just outside a kind of municipal kind of boring council building. The other ones, those cranes are in front of in fact, those are schoolgirls, and there's an E=mc² thing there, that Einstein's theory of relativity. But it's a huge part of Hiroshima and a huge part of Japanese culture, because essentially the crane has become a symbol of peace. And in every single classroom in Japan, there's 1,000 paper cranes hanging in the corner of a classroom. And it's something that just you do. You know, you have 1,000 paper cranes there because it's a sense that you fold them, you wish peace upon that classroom and upon the city that you're in. And it's just it's a huge part of culture. So for as long as I can remember, I've folded paper cranes. Yeah.
So, are you going to teach us how to do one? Because
I thought, you know, maybe a crane is a little bit ambitious, not denying your skills, but I thought we could start with something simple. Because so I've got a square here.
Okay.
Essentially, you know, origami always starts with a square. Generally starts with either folding it into a triangle or a rectangle. Most often a triangle. And the only other thing that's probably interesting to know is that you often fold a piece of paper and then undo it, because what you're doing is creating a guideline for your next fold. So there's often a lot of kind of folding and undoing. So Ricardo's got his second camera up. I thought I'd teach you how to make
second. Yeah. So Kumi, the only thing that I know how to do in origami, right, and I was playing with it earlier, it's one of these things.
Oh yeah, I don't know that. See, that's not really, or it sort of is, but not. But they are very cool. Remember those? You had to go, who you're going to kiss? Da, 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 da.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't it? Yeah, those things. Yeah. And you also
KISSING. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
And you put little, did you write on them like 4?
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Yeah, then you lifted up the flap.
Yes. Let's bring that back.
Yeah, I think that would be really good. So
for lockdown.
Oh, and also you can get so many of these kind of things online. So you can just type in basic origami and there'll be millions of like little, you know, guides online. So we'll start with a square piece of paper.
Yep.
Pretty much always the white's on the bottoms. So, sorry, you're going to put your square piece of paper on the table.
Yeah.
And with the white facing up. Then fold it into half, but in a triangle. I'm going to have to do it to the screen, which is not how you do it. You want to do it on the table like Ricardo's doing. Then you want to fold it in half again. So it's like a smaller triangle.
Okay. This is going well, I feel.
There's a prize for whoever gets it. Now, this is where it's interesting. You now unfold what you've just done to the original triangle, because you're kind of making yourself a guide. So it's back to half.
Right.
Then what you need to do is, I'm going to do it this way. You fold one bit up, kind of like that, at that angle. So the bottom of that is at the bottom of where that curve is. Yeah, Ricardo, you've got that. And then the other side you repeat and mirror it. So it should end up looking a bit like that.
How you going, Mark?
He's struggling. It's the Negroni.
You should never ask me to unfold it. Hold on.
It's just the second one you unfold.
Oh, I think I've got it. Can you just hold it up? Because I'm looking on my iPad because the screen's too small on my phone. Okay, I think I've got it. Is that sort of looking
perfect?
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's good. So now you want the bits that you've you want these sort of flappy bits here.
Yeah.
On that side of it, what you want to do is fold the bottom of your thing, just a little triangle up a bit like that. You're kind of essentially making the bottom of your origami straight, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Nearly
Like a
there.
lily, kind of.
Exactly. Then what you want to do is turn it over. Oh, hang on, sorry. Turn it over. So and you want to fold on the side, the little bit you've just done. You want to fold little top bit down. Mine's really badly made because I'm.
Got it?
Oh my
Okay,
God.
now.
It looks like a...
I can see what it's going to look like.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, have I stuffed it up? No, I think it's okay.
You're the sensei. You can't stuff it up.
No, I'm the sensei. I feel like I've stuffed it up, but anyway. You know what? I'm actually going to get you to fold that top bit. Sorry, everyone. The other way. So fold the top bit backwards. So you've got a flat, like little face like that.
That looks right.
That looks better, right?
Yeah.
Now what we need to do is make the little face more round. So you want to, I'm going to turn it backwards again, but you want to fold the side bits in to make the side of its face flat, like straight. So you end up with a little face. Mine's pretty badly done. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And then you get a pen and...
Oh, hold on. Hold this thought. Oh, shit. I just want my drink.
This is hard doing it to the camera.
I don't have a pen. What journalist doesn't have a pen?
You left it in the crew car.
I know, exactly. Anyway.
When you draw a little face on it,
I can't.
and it becomes a cat.
It's a little cat.
Oh, look at yours. What's with your eyes, Ricardo?
It's sleeping.
Oh,
Mine is just sort of, work in progress.
Yeah, so that was badly described, but you can, Ricardo, you found some online, right? You found some.
Yeah, when I was doing a bit of research, I found there's a whole heap of these with instructions on how to do it and different difficulty levels as well. And when I saw that, I thought, what a great idea for people that are at home, for your kids, just to pass the time. It also helps with eye-hand coordination. So I thought it was such a great idea. And at the same time, you're also learning about another culture, aren't you?
Yeah, totally. And it's so easy and kids love it. And also you can it doesn't have to be perfect, that's the cool thing about it. And it's fun. And seriously, like I get so much enjoyment out of it. Even if you're a bit stressed, seriously, you just go, I'm just going to make 5 cranes. It takes you 15 minutes and your brain just kind of resets and you're focused just on one thing.
Kumi, we have a question. Can you do it one-handed? Could you do it?
Yeah, I'm sure you could. The thing would be, yeah, you could. You could probably, the thing would be holding some of the bits of paper down, but you could do it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got another question from
stuff on YouTube as well. People doing it on YouTube, and you could just follow them.
Actually, do you know what? We had a Japanese exchange student stay with us when I was a young kid. And she taught us how to do origami. So this is pretty good considering I've been out of the making for about 15, 20 years. But she actually taught us how to make cranes. I can't remember how to do it for the life of me now, but yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's really nice.
Look, Kumi, that was awesome. Thank you so much for the lesson and for telling us a bit more about your Japanese culture.
My pleasure. It's great to see you guys. I miss you.
I miss you too. Stay safe.
See you soon. Thanks, Kumi.
Bye.
Well, that was great.
That was great. Hey, you thought I would be much worse. Mine's pretty good. And I cut that out of my notepad.
I'm going to lie. So I knew ahead of time I was going to do that. And I didn't tell you just to see what would happen.
You do the technology, you can do origami.
Well, so let me just show everyone, just in terms of the technology, the reason why I look off camera quite often is because that's kind of what I see, and I've got to play with all of that
behind the
that gear
scenes
as
look
well.
to the studio.
Behind the ssines.
You know, and the reason I look down, because one of my friends said to me, why do you always look down? Like, what are you looking at? Are you on a dating website or something? I'm like, I'm actually trying to check the comments. But anyway.
Hey, let's wrap up by doing something we've been doing over the past few episodes. Anyone that watched the first show would have seen Mark's attempt at cooking, which I don't have with me at the moment to put up. It wasn't amazing.
Wasn't great. It was really more... Yeah, I think it's because I have a few drinks while I start cooking, and then I kind of get a bit ahead of myself, like the confidence goes too high.
But the best thing, I guess, about lockdown is that you've got more time to stay at home, to practice, make some mistakes, and then perfect your craft. Let me show everyone what Mark's been up to and his culinary skills. Mark, talk us through it.
Well, this is my trial for cordon bleu to study there. So on the left, we have a salmon on like a couscous, there's some sort of spice in there, and salad with balsamic vinegar. And the sauce is, it's like a Greek yogurt and something else. I can't remember. It was like on Monday. Move on. The next one on the right, I actually cooked for my intimate partner, single bubble person, which it was his birthday the other night, and it's very sad celebrating a birthday in lockdown. So this is a chorizo salad. It's really, really good. It's chorizo, potato, spinach, capsicum, balsamic, olive oil, and tomato. But you roast the tomato, tomato, capsicum, potato, and chorizo together in I did it in air fryer because I'm poor and don't have an oven. And it's amazing.
Yeah, but the air fryers are fantastic though.
It is. They're the best. I even think the oven's going to be made redundant soon, anyway. But so it was really, really good. I'm really enjoying HelloFresh because it's making me learn how to cook. And no, this isn't a promo. It's just
and there are lots of those types of companies out there anyway.
Exactly.
Business Ricardo.
Exactly.
And I was on the late shift at work this week, so it meant that I had my whole mornings and early afternoons free. So for me, it was all about brunch, is what I was cooking at home. So this is what I've made.
Oh wow!
So I've got my protein pancakes there on the left. So that's kind of from a company that I get. It's made out of lupini and almond meal. Just layered with a bit of banana and strawberry and peanut butter and honey, and then some paleo granola. So that's the pancakes. And then on the right is, it's a bit of a close-up, but it's a frittata. So it's a frittata with almond meal, zucchini, some carrot, some sweet potato, and avocado. So Mark, when we're finally allowed to hang out again in person, I'll make those for you.
Yes, because you've already picked your intimate part. Sorry, you're a single bubble person, not intimate partner.
Not intimate partner.
Those applications are still, bring them in, as well as your questions and guest suggestions for next week. So if you know anyone that we should be talking to, someone doing something fun in lockdown, inspiring, a balcony party, cooking for people. We have one friend who's washing clothes for the homeless. Anyone like that would be great. So,
and we'd love to hear from people from other states as well. Even though Sydney's in lockdown, Brisbane's now in lockdown for the next 3 days. Hopefully for them, it won't be any longer. But we'd love to hear from maybe people in Melbourne that perhaps have gone through a long lockdown and an amazing story has come out of it. So we're looking for some inspirational stories from them too.
Exactly. So DM us or send us a message on Facebook.
Mark, pleasure. I'll talk to you soon.
As always, have a good week, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.